part 7 of the fruit of the Spirit. We're making our way through the book of Galatians, and this part 7 is called faith. What the Bible says in Galatians is that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faith, self-control, meekness, and so forth. Faith is one of those. But what does that mean? What does it mean to have faith as a characteristic of the fruit of the Spirit? Faith, a fruit? Well, let's look. Again, this is the fruit of the Spirit, part 7. Faith, the gift of God. We have to keep in mind that God has created us as trees. The Bible says He has planted us as trees. We find this in Isaiah chapter 61. In Psalm 1, we see this. Frequently throughout the Scriptures, especially in the book of Isaiah, we're likened to oaks of righteousness. That's what we're called, the pine tree, the fir tree, the box tree. He calls us trees. And what happens is the Bible says that either God makes the tree bad or He makes the tree good. And if God has done the planting, for these good trees, then the fruit is going to be evident. And what that means is that there is the fruit of the Spirit in our lives. And sometimes when we don't feel very fruitful, God looks at us as that way because of the cross. That's true fruit, true good fruit. In fact, He said, every tree that my Father has not planted will be uprooted. Okay? So what does the Bible mean when it classifies faith as a part of the fruit of the Spirit? 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels and have not love, I have become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have prophecies and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so as to move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. Though I give all my goods to feed the poor, and though I deliver my body to be burned, but have not love, I am profited nothing. Love has patience. Love is kind. Love is not envious. It is not vain. It is not puffed up. Does not behave indecently. Nor does it seek its own. It is not easily provoked. Thinks no evil. Love does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. Quietly covers all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So, love believes all things. Well, first, what believing all things is not. Faith is not believing something just because the masses believe it. Matthew 7. Go through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there are who go through it. Because narrow is the gate and constricted is the way that leads to life, and there are few who find it. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorns or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruits, nor can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that does not bring forth good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And through your name throw out demons? And through your name do many wonderful works? And then I will say to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. You see, doing the will of the Father is believing on Jesus Christ. The Pharisees and the Jews asked in John chapter 6, what must we do that we might work the works of God? Jesus said, this is the work of God, that you believe on Him whom He has sent. That's the will of the Father, to trust Christ's righteousness and not our own. You see, this whole context is dealing with people who think their righteousness is going to help them get favor in the sight of God. And God says, "Depart from me. I never knew you." You see, there's no faith there. There is no faith in that bad fruit. Bad fruit comes forth. You can hear it in the teaching. If it teaches that mankind has the power to do good and has the power to believe or embrace Jesus Christ, that's another gospel, and that is bad fruit. Bad fruit teaches us that by our performance, by our good deeds, God will accept us. That's bad fruit. That's what the Pharisees had. Paul taught bad fruit is when you try to conjoin works with Christ. That's bad fruit. It's either all Christ or it's nothing. The Bible says, if you are circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. Basically what he was saying is he was speaking to the Judaizers who were believing the lie that was brought into the church privily. They were believing the lie that you have to be circumcised in addition to Jesus Christ in order to be saved. So what believing all things is not. Faith is not believing simply because the masses believe it. There are a lot of people who believe in justification by works. There are a lot of people who believe that your free will is what determines your salvation. Second, faith is not believing something just because you want it to be true. Many people want to be healed of cancer. Many people want their passed away loved ones to come back to life. Many people want to not have a cold. Many people want a mansion, want riches, want money. We all would like to have more money. But the fact is, just because you want something to be true, that does not constitute faith. You see, there are a lot of teachers, especially in the televangelism arena, who will tell you that you don't have enough faith if you're sick. Well, if that's true, then what happens when you die? Did you die because you didn't have enough faith? You see, that's a system of bondage, and it's a lie, and it brings people into a works-based righteousness philosophy. What that does is it tells the person that unless they exercise enough faith, they will not have financial success or success in health or with their relationships with people. John chapter 6. When they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, "Rabbi, when did you come here?" Jesus answered them and said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you do not seek me because you saw the miracles, but because you ate the loaves and were filled." I fear that that's why a lot of people follow Jesus Christ.